It's civil war in my mind. And I've got an angel and devil imploring I take sides. So I Steve Rogers and raise this invisible shield in plain sight. Then I iron fight like Tony Stark with iron might. I'm Iron Mike and I drop this devil with an iron right. But that's just me wishing things were that easy. The truth is, I'm in a sunken place, and I've got voices in my head screaming, get out, so I don't remain sunk in place. Hence, I've got an axe to grind in my depression like I'm risking a murder case. I'm determined to body bag distress and then leave the scene without a trace. Because it's a matter of mind matters that matter, these mind matters. I speak of a mind scattered and battered to blood splatters, then other a soul shattered and fragments of hope spattered with thought patterns suggestive of battles with mad hatter. It's a matter of mind matters that matter, these mind matters. So I speak of a mind scattered and battered to blood splatters, and other a soul shattered and fragments of hope spattered with thought patterns suggestive of battles with mad hatter. So at times I feel like I'm pro-pain, I'm prone to pain. I'm in a constant fight with my own brain just to remain sane. And no propane can tackle with this pain. But still, I advance faster my goals like Harry Kane, equipped with idle cursing and a desire to liberate myself in this earthly cage. And since this world is a prison, I escape through these bars. Like Michael Schofield, I draw the blueprint for my scars. This is architecture and lyricism, and I use these words to help me depart from a devilish path as I embrace this journey from falsehood to Allah. Because unlike most, I don't Harvey Dent and leave my luck to chance. Instead, I put trust in my Lord and request residency above the stars. Then accept getting there is no easy task. Because this world is suffocating, like breathing through Bane's broken face mask. But that's TDKR, so like the Dark Knight Rises, I rise from the ashes of my past. I mean, I've desired the worst things, considered lifestyles designed to leave childhoods in hearses while searching for purpose and the best version of myself to proceed forth with, until I found the truth, reason and a voice for the voiceless. So I don't need to carry a gun. I create it mid-verse using my tongue and lips, then I load it up and empty the clip. Now here's a thriller movie twist, the only arms I carry are attached to these wrists. I don't need an actual gap to enforce my speech when my metaphors and similes pack more heat. The only weapon I need is housed in this mouth. But I told myself I'd never write like this, because I'd rather die in a heat than become arrogant when I speak. But it seems the only way to capture attention is to spit like you belong to the streets. And the fact is, where I grew up it was peak, but I still took the stereotypes and put them beneath my feet. Still, things could have very easily have been different. It's either a queen for a mum that refused to accept anything less than success from her son she didn't even want to see slipping. And man, it's a shame our generation is so desensitized to crime. Let's face it, nowadays we'd rather see a girl jump by 6 chicks, have her head split, choking the blood from a bus slip as we film every second for a Facebook or Insta video clip. Then we would report the events to save this poor kid from a broken hip, collarbone or rib. Man, it's sick. And if this is normal, how can I expect anyone to know what oppression is? For those of you listening though, here's a quick definition. Syria, Palestine, Rohingya and every other place I miss where regimes leave shanks and bullets in innocent chests. And the only time these things matter is when it takes place in the West. So I'll be honest, I hate a lot of these memes for how they take a real life situation and belittle it to seem like a trivial thing, like a tsunami inspired fat joke for some poor attack bloke who probably doesn't know until the video's blown, and that's laughter at the expense of thousands of lost souls. But I guess that's why they spell it with 2 me's, to emphasize how easy it is to give that trigger a squeeze, so long as it's a stranger standing in front of the barrel. Blah! This next piece is pretty new. I've just been informed that I'll be a part of the knife crime thing now, so, you know. It's called Welcome to London. Welcome to London, the city where it's apparent watching the sun go down that made daylight disappear. It's fear that Gotham scared cold with hope thrown, wishing this were a place where heroes roam. But symbols don't work here, as dark nights give rise to political propaganda and guys, and young lives continue to cease at the end of a life. This epidemic has youths hooked on the streets with poison ivy, like an addiction to heroin with knife temperament that's more unsettling than an overdose of methamphetamines. Residents question if anything is as soul surrendering as the commitment these youths have to the blades they're connected with. For some, it starts like a relationship with no strings attached. Nothing but fun and games until everything changes when their men says things could get bloody. And this occasion calls for more than a simple mugging. That's when the kid's knees buckle. The situation has him concerned and troubled. He thought his fertile imagination meant he could conceive without the body. So his first response is to peel and be done with the macabre hobby. But he knows it's too late to birth control when he's too deep in this posse. Now in this moment he's worried. He knows the outcome of undertaking this action to be life-changing. But like the law of the jungle with survival of the fittest, is either he shows his commitment or risks becoming the victim. So he proceeds to paint the concrete crimson with the blood of some innocent youth that had no clue his life ended would be the consequence of being caught slipping. What follows is a jail cell and a tight-lipped rebellion. And to this mute's pressed and left remote struggling to remain buttoned. He's alone in his peak. He's desperate to put an S in the situation and speak. But there's no way atonement this letter would save him. It's a shame it took life imprisonment for him to accept that his boys would never clear a cell and getting caught is spot removal. With hindsight, we have to examine what forced these youths to try angles that made them decide they have more to gain from the roles than they do from the classroom. How many times have we seen these academic institutes, capital letters, see how their liabilities have these youths written off? It's tunnel vision perspectives that put on metrics that put an invisible noose around necks like a game of hangman where past trauma shape futures, and these establishments display no real desire to help, and I find it sickening that Twitter provides more of an opportunity for refining characters than the education system, where kids are expected to take lessons from being condemned to isolated settings for exhibiting even the most minor signs of aggression. It's time we amend things and to continue to question the governmental agenda, like how they continue to allow the streets to play surgeon to every young person willing to offer their blood for a transfusion of which they never truly understood the burden. I mean, how can we expect those in charge to be square when the value of life is an equation too algebraic for a system that only places significance in numerical figures? To campaign for genuine change means acknowledging what's at stake, because the knives were bad enough when the K's were silent. Now gangs are rushing to bring the hawk in like it was US inspired. Even those that claim that they're God conscious will sever ties with the Quran over revenge or leave the cross on their side to let an excommunicate life where the blade's been. Whether it's a Christian living on edge or a Muslim bringing Islam to the slaughter, a caller to faith is thwarted by the story he authors. Says he carries the source for his fortress, yet his business succeeds in importance. What's a prophet that's morbid? I'm wondering how men of God can live so lawless. Even those void of religious exploring have the choice for the decorum. Fact is, this epidemic is as sordid as a Home Office chicken box collaboration with Morley's. So rather than placing our trust in the laboratories, it's time we inspire our youth to let the result of good actions open doors like chivalry. Okay, so this piece for the time being is going to be called The Storm. Yes. How long have I been fantastic for? Fire, Johnny Storm. Though it's no stretch to say I've largely been ignored, overlooked like I was Sue Richards in adjusted form. But here's the thing. Spied the man, women and poets they chose. You see they fit a particular mold. So if this is the nature of the beast, I should bell at the lack of beauty I see. Wherever there's envy, hatred extends from the seams. There's eyes on me. Ready for grand theft, they ought to be wasted. Two-faced traitors, but I stay courageous. Seek safety with he who rules over the angels. Don't be fooled by the hugs when they praise you. Enemies in the shape of friends wishing they could plagiarize on page they rise to see the end of mind conceit through a body of lies. These days, it's all in the eyes and Wi-Fi, and you would think I have flash drive the way I'm aware of the iris is where the IR is usually sighted, and I can't decide if it's die in your rage or haters be blinded. I'm stifled in silence, knowing if I did convey this max pain in each verse, I'll see my reach take a huge chit and eventually burst. Hence I try to find the middle ground and deliver what works, but most don't agree with this work, so they tell me I'm good but won't give me the stage perks. The truth hurts, but maybe these factors mean my range is deceiving me, leaving me frustrated and self-sworn to secrecy, like forever hold your peace until I can see that I believe that it's thievery, feeling like there's no place in this scene for me. But I dream eagerly And if hell is the antithesis of where my ambition is, I can't give the devil his wish as I witness the extent of his tricks. If I spoke in verse about how I used to live, you'd see it as evil. I had the most time speed dial, but only made the cool when my mind was feeble. It took a paradigm shift for me to accept that my persona was see-through. So if those dark nights return, I'm Bruce Wayne with a suit and cowl on. I'll stand strong, 11 in the presence of where the demagogue and spawn sprung. I won't run. Satan tried ambition, Robin, Batman. I embraced that face off and waged forward a change. Ordered that Cajun Travolta with Drake Sultan. If my detractors concern themselves over my next moves relentless, prepared to vent with anger, offensive, verbal, attentive with a condition horrendous, I'll welcome it. Let them send for my head their Konami extended, without the Metal Gear Solid, just an agenda to bring about Annotate's ending like silent, he'll stay. If we send them a message, no need for the violence, just to being advised against. Like, I can't speak my mind and fess about how my life at times is stressed. And as I assess the mess, I try to remember the ways in which I am blessed, but find it sick how we obsess over everyone else. We're losing sight of ourselves in this world where people just love to slander. Jordan peel off, embracing the culturist cancer. I would get out, but still believe there's an us worth fighting for. So I cement that point with a pause. Semicolon, as I wait for the backhanded applause, suggesting they agree with the cause. When really informed, they'd rather air my dirty laundry like drawers and leave me hung out to dry. It's Jekyll and Hyde, like how they embrace this arrogant pride. But I'm full of spirit, with intent that's soul caliber, star quality that's too much for these mean folk like supernova exposure. Determined opposers get the scorpion like, get over it here till I witness the chains broke for a portion of closure. All you haters did was strengthen the resolve in me, winter soldier, lyrical sub-zero but colder. The saddest of you will still tear at me with eyes on the future like a crystal gazer, a palm reader, or a mischief maker. But savor the statement. How can you play your cards right when I don't believe in superstitious arrangements? I consider it gracious you believe there's ever a reason for all of this hate, and I'm never deflated, you jokers. I'm a walking phoenix, and this the gambit reaction. Where we collide to sculpt me is like a hopeless meme, a bad idea, I mean. How are you hoping to succeed by living through me? I carry cranium currency, and I'm currently capitalizing on my capital. And to cap it off, I'm ushering in a new era without the caps on. I feel I can speak of this scene and its errors forever, take action with current measures, amped and unfettered. If our wires cross, I refuse to plug like a broken socket. I don't need the spark when my properties are electric. I wouldn't offer a clown a penny for their thoughts. I'm Pennywise, with my eye on the prize. I've got more to offer than just rhyme. Listen as I let the flow assist whenever I spit. I'm destined for greatness if I choose to embrace this. It's crazy how I found support in a vortex as I chase success. So it's time for the fusion. Had Dawkin, YA pen, team at battle rap like an abuse it. Call it useless, so I switch movesets and it's that fatality, brutally ruthless. But still, I'm curious. How do a Ken bar be neglected? If it isn't Dreamhouse reflective, it isn't effective. But these bars wouldn't go over your head if you weren't evading the squirt like duck, duck, goose. I'm a hair raiser in truth, leave you in shock as you muse, wondering how this level of doubt hasn't seen me throw in the towel. This is Miles Morales versus Fisk and the Prowler. My appreciation for this is innate, sideways it's boundless. I got a team around me that won't allow me to cower. If 15 minutes is power, then multiply by those in support that surround me as sours. Now that's how you raise the bar and set a new standard.